we usually start the show off, in a jovial, serious, joking, laughing mood. As always, 'cause we want to have fun on this show. We want to have fun, talking about football and, on this podcast, right? So, but let's just kick it off with a more serious note. Especially what happened, yesterday, in light of what happened yesterday on Valentine's Day, at the Super Bowl parade in Kansas City, Missouri for the Chiefs. So, uh, you know, my heart and my thoughts and my prayers are with the victims and their families from that incident and what happened, because there is just so much hate in this world. And what boggles my mind just thinking about it as I was praying and mulling over what happened is just this happens not just at the parade. It's happening in our world today, and it's sickening to think about. People can't It seems like people can't go and celebrate their favorite teams anymore for winning a title. For as a community in Kansas City, as a community in whatever city you're in, to celebrate. Hey, my team won a championship. We rally together as a family, as a friends, as a community to celebrate what was accomplished athletically, right? And it's one of those things. It's sad. It's sad to think about that, and it's sad to just think and just ponder what's happening in our world right now. And it's heartbreaking. But the good truth about everything, and we do know this, and I do know this in my heart, that Jesus is faithful and true. He is the Lord of all. He is the Lord Almighty. He is the King of Kings, and He is faithful and true, like I just said. So praise Him, and He is with everybody during this time. And my thoughts, my prayers are with everybody during this time. And I'm going to continue to pray for the city of Kansas City and everything going on around the world, because sometimes you just think enough's enough, but you know we just got to stay true and stay faithful, and keep our sights on the most important thing, because football and celebrating stuff, it's not the most important thing in the world. Even though football is fun and it's covering it is my job, and talking about this on my podcast is my job, but the main thing is Jesus. That is the number one thing, and it will always be the number one thing in my life, and hopefully it will be in everybody else's life. But with that being said, welcome to Pigskin Frenzy on this wonderful and pretty, I guess, chilly day of Thursday afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Joel Norris, and whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, listening on Podbean and Apple, a big thank you for taking some time out of your Thursday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some NFL coverage presented by me. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you have to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. We have X, we have Instagram, and we have Facebook. All you have to do is type in Pigskin Frenzy on your keyboards or on your phone, then follow each page. You will get episode updates. You will get news and highlights from across college and NFL football on X. You will get trivia questions on Instagram stories. Go and answer today's NFL question, as well as all things of the day for Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, NFL Day today. This is it, the finale of the season, the 2023 season. We're going to recap the Super Bowl from this past Sunday. We watched it, we covered it, and we are going to talk about that. We are going to dive deep into the game itself from both perspectives and both teams. A lot happened in this game. And we're gonna, conclude today's episode of Pigskin Frenzy with a brief summary of the 2023 NFL season, as we shift gears into the 2024 NFL season. And soon enough, you hear that music. I hear that music in Detroit. The 2024 NFL draft's coming soon. Draft coverage is coming soon on this show. I can't wait for it. I've been talking about it, and I love talking about it last season. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it again this year. So guys, keep plugging into Pigskin Frenzy on all platforms, audio and video, and on all socials for everything up to date for Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, let's rock and roll here. And let me go on to tell you something. I said if the Chiefs win, I am going to rock a Patrick Mahomes number 15 Chiefs jersey. And guess what I'm wearing? A number 15 Patrick Mahomes Chiefs jersey. You thought I wasn't going to do it. You thought I wasn't going to do it, I bet. But I did. I did keep my promise at the end of last week's episode. I did rock the jersey. The Chiefs did win back-to-back Super Bowls for the first time since the 2004 and 2005 seasons. The New England Patriots, Tom Brady's New England Patriots, 20 years ago, went back-to-back and is the first back-to-back Super Bowl champions since then. Chiefs 25, 49ers 22 in the Super Bowl. What a way to conclude the season and cap off this season. Let me go on and let's go over the stats and we will talk about the game itself. Patrick Mahomes is on a different level than everybody else, and we're going to talk about that. Patrick Mahomes, 34 for 46 with 333 yards and 2 touchdowns with 1 interception, 9 carries with 66 yards. Isaiah Pacheco, 18 carries with 59 yards, 6 receptions with 33 yards. Rashee Rice, 6 receptions with 39 yards, 2 carries with 5 yards. Travis Kelce, 9 receptions with 93 yards. Mecole Hardman, 3 receptions with 57 yards and 1 touchdown. Justin Watson, 3 receptions with 54 yards. Noah Gray, 2 receptions with 22 yards. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 3 receptions with 20 yards and a touchdown. Jerick McKinnon, 2 receptions with 15 yards. And the defense played an outstanding game. Steve Spagnuolo called a really, really good game on defense. That defense racked up 2 turnovers and a sack. Linebacker Nick Bolton and safety Justin Reed were the highlights for this defense. Bolton racked up 13 total tackles, with Reed racking up 9 total tackles. Let's go with the 49ers really, really quick. This was an impressive game for both teams, but I'm going to talk about this for a little bit, and you're going to see what I mean here. Brock Purdy, 23 for 38 with 255 yards and a touchdown, 3 carries with 12 yards. Juwan Jennings was probably, if you want to add add a little bit to it, in my opinion, could have been very well been MVP of this game. Yeah, if the 49ers were to won this game, they could have been MVP. Juwan Jennings could have been MVP, Super Bowl MVP. So 4 receptions with 42 yards and a touchdown with a 21-yard touchdown pass. And what I mean by that is he joins former Eagles quarterback Nick Foles as the only player with Nick Foles to pass for a touchdown and catch for a touchdown in Super Bowl history. How about that? He lit it up. It was a design trick play to Christian McCaffrey, and McCaffrey, he launched to McCaffrey, trick play from Purdy to Jennings. Jennings launched it to McCaffrey, and McCaffrey ran it in for a touchdown. It was an incredible trick play. Awesome play by Juwan Jennings, and awesome play by the 49ers. And it was an excellent play drawn up by Shanahan and the rest of the staff. But we're going to talk about the rest of this because there's some things to talk about with the 49ers here. So Christian McCaffrey, 22 carries with 80 yards, 8 receptions with 80 yards and a touchdown. He was incredible. Christian McCaffrey was incredible in this game. And in my opinion, it was one of those things where you need to put this team on your back and you need to go all the way with it, right? So McCaffrey, 22 carries, 80 yards, 8 receptions with 80 yards and a touchdown. Deebo Samuel, 3 receptions with 33 yards, 3 carries with 8 yards. Elijah Mitchell, through 2 carries with 8 yards. Brandon Ayuk was a big part of this offense. 3 receptions with 49 yards. He played a really good game. So was Kyle Juszczyk. Kyle Juszczyk, 2 receptions with 31 yards. Ray McLeod had a 19-yard reception. Chris Conley, former Kansas City Chief as well, had a 19-yard reception. George Kittle, 2 receptions with 4 yards. And I think the only disheartening factor was George Kittle not being involved in the game a little bit more, because I think he would have been a valuable asset to this offense, and something could have happened if George Kittle was involved with some of these plays in a little bit more. The defense played an outstanding game, and they played a really good game as well, racking up 3 sacks and 2 turnovers. Safety Jair Brown and linebacker Fred Warner were the main forces of this defense. Brown racked up 11 total tackles and an interception, picked off Patrick Mahomes earlier in the game, and then Warner racked up 13 total tackles. Patrick Mahomes has won a 3rd Super Bowl MVP. He has tied Joe Montana for the 2nd most, only behind Tom Brady, who was the greatest of all time. Let's talk about the Chiefs really quick. Man, What a season, right? And it was a season. Like I said last week when we showcased these two teams, it was a it was a season full of doubt, really. And I doubted them. I didn't think it was going to happen. I honestly thought this was not going to be the Chiefs' year. The Chiefs were going to try to sit out this year and think about everything that happened and then rebound the next season. But no, the switch was flipped. They went from dropping passes in the regular season to catching every football known to man and in the playoffs and beating each team and physically just dominating each team in each game they played in throughout the postseason. Starting from the Miami Dolphins, they dominated that game in frigid cold weather. They went to Buffalo and dominated Buffalo, or not really dominated Buffalo. Buffalo kind of kept it close, but they beat Buffalo on the road in Orchard Park. They dominated the Baltimore Ravens up front physically in Baltimore to win back-to-back AFC championships and to go to the Super Bowl. They go to the Super Bowl against the San Francisco 49ers, and they go into overtime with the Niners, who was one of the most complete teams in the NFL this season and one of the best teams in the NFL this season, and beat them. They beat both number one seeds in the postseason. Imagine that. They beat both number one seeds in the postseason, and they were the number 3 seed in the AFC. So the Chiefs, a lot of people didn't give them credit. I didn't give them credit because I think they were distracted. Honestly, I did. I think that it was showing on the field. They were distracted by all the pop culture buzz going around Kansas City with the Taylor Swift stuff and everything going on. I thought they were distracted, but coming into this postseason, they turned it up a notch, and that is why the leadership and the guidance of Patrick Mahomes is so great. He is one of the best quarterbacks to play the game already. And he's only 28 years old. And he is. And it's the truth. It's not, we're not going to just sit here and dispute that. But notice how I didn't say he was the greatest of all time. I did not say that yet. I do not believe that he's the greatest of all time yet. I think he is one of the greatest to do it so far, but I do not think he is the GOAT yet. He even said it. He said it's always going to be hard to compare himself to Tom Brady because Brady beat him in the Super Bowl. Brady has 35 postseason wins. Mahomes has 15, so he's about halfway there. He has three Super Bowl rings, 4 Super Bowl appearances. Unbelievable. I mean, at the age of 28, he's got 4 AFC championships. Unbelievable. He's got 2 NFL MVPs. Unbelievable. And 3 Super Bowl MVPs. Unbelievable. Patrick Mahomes is on a different level, ladies and gentlemen. It's Patrick Mahomes and everybody else. Okay? And that's just what it is. That's just the Chiefs. Travis Kelce played an amazing game. What happened with him in the incident with Andy Reid, and he even admitted it on his show. He said it on his show that was posted yesterday that it was unacceptable what he did, and he apologized, and he has now apologized for what he did, and it was unacceptable. I'm not going to lie. And listen, you can use the excuse of we're all going to play and we all want to play and we were passionate about being in, and I could do really well on that play, and I get that, but there's different ways to handle it, and that wasn't a good way to handling it. That was not a good way of handling it. And I'm glad he apologized, and I'm glad he owned up to what happened because I didn't think it was a good way of handling himself either. But Kelce did have a good game. The Swifties are in full effect. They won back-to-back Super Bowls, and we kind of doubted the Kansas City Chiefs a little bit. Mahomes, the best in the league, hands down, going into next season. Obviously, he will be the best in the league. Favorite to win NFL MVP. There is nobody that can really stop him at this point. And when you look at the whole thing, there's nobody that can stop him at this point. And if you get mad about that, it's like, beat him. You know what I mean? Beat him. If you want to stop them, beat them. Challenge them. If you're mad about it, go in their house in Arrowhead and beat them. The only one that I've seen that could go toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes is Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. That's the only team that I've really seen who has got a winning record against Mahomes and the Chiefs so far since Burrow and Mahomes have both been in the league, and it's 3-1 for Joe Burrow over Mahomes. 3 wins against Mahomes over 1 loss. Mahomes, the last time they played against each other and rivaled against each other, it was a Kansas City win in the AFC Championship of last season, going to the Super Bowl 57 in Arizona against the Eagles. So good on the Chiefs. They are dominant back to back, and let's see if they three-peat. I don't know. It's going to be a challenge. It's hard to go back to back. It's even harder to three-peat. So it hasn't been done. No one's three-peated before. No one has three-peated before. They're trying to do something that's never been done before. And can they do it? We'll have to see in the 2024 season, but it's kind of hard. It's going to be kind of hard to three-peat in the Super Bowl. So the Chiefs won. They played a really, really good game in the second half of the Super Bowl. And quite frankly, it didn't start off the best in the second half. Mahomes threw a pick, but then Mahomes started cooking a little bit. He started finding that energy, that Mahomes energy, that will to win. Mahomes is one of the best in the league at carrying the team and putting it on his back and leading this team to, and capitalizing on drives. He's one of the best to do it in this league. He's hands down the best in the league right now. So my thoughts on the Chiefs, they played a really, really good second half game. And they won the Super Bowl. They had some good moments up front at first in the first half, but they played a lot better in the second half. So good on the Chiefs. They are the back-to-back Super Bowl champions, and they won back-to-back. And they had a parade yesterday, and they celebrated until the incident occurred. And like I said, my thoughts and prayers are with everybody in Kansas City right now because of that. So let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers really quick, because I mentioned second half, right? I mentioned second half. And this game went into overtime, by the way. This game went into overtime, and Patrick Mahomes led another game-winning drive, another championship-winning drive. Superb performance by Mahomes and the Chiefs, right? So the Niners played a really, really good game in the first half. A really, really good game in the first half. And to me, you're going to think, okay, here, what are you going to say about the Niners? The Niners were the most complete team in the 2023 season. I think they were. And I think they were one of the best, if not the best team in the league behind the Ravens, right? So, yes, Kyle Shanahan, they put up a monster plan in the first half. But it's not about how you start. It's about how you finish a lot of the times, okay? And guess what? It has been the same old song and dance with Kyle Shanahan in the Super Bowl. You're thinking, wow, you're just going to call it out like that? I'm going to call it out like that. The reason why I picked the Chiefs last week to win is because I didn't trust it at first. Now it's kind of hard to trust it at all, if you want to be real with it. I think Kyle Shanahan is a good coach, but this has happened so many times. As an offensive coordinator for the Falcons, 28-3 in overtime, nonetheless. Same thing as this game. The Tom Brady and the Patriots come back into overtime and beat the Falcons to win the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 51. They go into 2019, the 2019 season going into 2020, Super Bowl 54. Kyle Shanahan is a head coach for the San Francisco 49ers, 20-10 with 5 to 6 minutes left in the game. In the game, they had it. This was they were about to complete a game and win the championship, and their first title in about 25 years. About 25 years at that point. And the Niners ended up letting Mahomes score and beating them 31-20 within the final few minutes of the game. It was 20-17. 20-17, they had the game won, and the Niners lost it 31-20 within the final few minutes of the game. They lost that one. And if you want to talk about conference titles, they missed the next season because they were all hurt and beat up. Then they made it to the Rams. They were up on the Rams 20 to, they were up on the Rams 17-3 17-3, 17-7 in the first half. The Niners were going to go to the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 56, and they lost the NFC Championship to the Rams. They had a lead and they blew the lead. The next season, they made it all the way to the NFC Championship. That game wasn't even close from the start. So we can't really count that one. But they win this. They kind of had a shaky start in the postseason with, second half, second half and last minute wins against the Packers and the Lions. And they win. They go to the Super Bowl. They dominate the first half, had a good plan. And then in the second half, they kind of played a little bit with fire here. They played a back and forth game with the Chiefs. They go into overtime. They got the ball first, in which, they did not know about the new overtime rules in the postseason, and meaning that, hey, we're going to get the ball back. The Chiefs are going to get the ball back. So if you score here, you better score a touchdown here because they're going to get the ball back, right? So they didn't. The Chiefs defense stepped up. Brock Purdy got hit. They kicked the field goal. Patrick Mahomes led down to a game-winning drive, and it was a 25-22 victory, back-to-back Super Bowl champions for the Chiefs. And Mahomes outduels Purdy, and outduels another quarterback in the league. The Niners blew it again, and this was going to be their first title in 29 years since 1994, and since the 1993 season, going into 1994, and it's sad. It's unbelievable. And then news broke yesterday on Valentine's Day that in the conference call with the 49ers that the Kyle Shanahan and the Niners have come to an agreement that defensive coordinator Steve Wilks will no longer be the coordinator there. He has been let go from the San Francisco 49ers. My mind was blown. Ranked top 3 in defense this season, ranked top 10 in turnovers for defense, ranked in points, on the defense, ranked top 5 in that category. They ranked top 3, the top 10 in every statistical category on defense, and they let him go. The reason why they lost that game wasn't because of the defense. Do not get it twisted. That defense is going to have to that defense is going to be on eggshells a little bit when you're going up against one of the best quarterbacks, and if not the best quarterback in the league today, in Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be tough and challenging. That's any defense. It's not just the Niners defense. That was the Ravens defense. The Ravens defense had trouble, and they were one of the best defenses all year. And then it wasn't because they let Mike Macdonald go. They were going to keep him, but Mike Macdonald took the Seattle Seahawks head coaching job. Steve Wilks should have been let go. That's bottom line. He shouldn't have been let go over a game that really wasn't his fault. The Niners, as a whole unit, not just on defense, on offense, kind of collapsed, and then Mahomes, the best quarterback in our generation today, took note of that, and he capitalized on that. So you can't fault him for that. You can't fault Steve Wilks and the Niners for that. History tends to repeat itself. You know what I mean? History tends to repeat itself. And I've said that. I said that last week. That's why I picked the Chiefs to win. I think the history was going to tend to repeat itself. I think the hump was going to be too hard over a team like Mahomes, and how Mahomes was way better than he was in Super Bowl 54. Mahomes is only getting better and better and better as the years go on. And the Chiefs are inevitable. That's the whole point of this. The Chiefs are inevitable. The Niners couldn't overcome the hump. Kyle Shanahan's 0-3 in Super Bowls. The big question is, will Kyle Shanahan win a Super Bowl? That's the big question that we got now. Will he win a Super Bowl? It's hard to tell. We don't know. I'm not going to say he will. I'm not going to say he isn't going to win one. I'm not going to say anything at all. But my point is proven that I think that right now there is a problem because they come so close. They ball out in the first half, and they out-physicaled the Chiefs in the first half. In physicality, they were more physical than the Chiefs up front in the first half and throughout the game until about late third quarter in early fourth or late third quarter, all of the fourth, and in overtime. That's when the Chiefs rose up and Mahomes rose up and capitalized. And then the Niners just kind of blew it a little bit. And I think that's the issue right now. The issue right now is, can the Niners and can Kyle Shanahan recuperate from this, and can they win one? Can they win the big one? That is the big question that we got now. I do not think they should have fired Steve Wilks. I think that was a mistake on their part. Are they going to get somebody that's good? Yes, I believe that the Niners are going to get a defensive coordinator that is just as good as Wilks and or D'Amico Ryans. The Niners are not going to go anywhere. But the problem is, how can we view everything and how can we see them winning a championship when they are a complete team all year and then they go and then they blow it? It's just kind of hard to sit and say anything, right? It's just kind of hard. I'm going to keep rooting for the Niners. I'm going to keep predicting the Niners. I'm going to keep picking the Niners to win games. I will pick the Niners to go to the Super Bowl. But getting over the hump is just it's just where I pump the brakes right now on everything. It's where I just pump the brakes. So the final score of this game was 25-22. Chiefs are back-to-back Super Bowl champions. The Chiefs are inevitable, ladies and gentlemen. Going into this season, they are, they're going to be the villains. But go and beat them. That's the challenge that you're going to present yourselves going into the 2024 season. They are the back-to-back Super Bowl champions, the defending champions. Go and beat them. They are the villains, and they're going to embrace that coming up this season. Go and beat them. That's all I got to say is go and beat them. Can they three-peat? Who knows? We got to talk about that when September hits. When September comes, we will talk about that. But for the Niners, back to the drawing board. Everybody's 0-0 now. Back to the drawing board, and we will see what happens and what goes down with the San Francisco 49ers heading into this year. Who they get as their DC, we're going to find that out very soon. But we just got to, that's the big question. Can they get over the hump? And I don't know. I just don't know about the Niners right now. That's just kind of hard to say about the San Francisco 49ers. 25-22, the Chiefs defeat the Niners to win back-to-back Super Bowl titles. So that's pretty much the season, guys. And let me go on and tell you something. Let's just recap the 2023 season right now, and let's recap everything that happened together in the season. I mean, starting off with the Kansas City Chiefs, the back-to-back Super Bowl champions. We didn't think that we're going to make it this far. We didn't think they were going to make it this far. We thought that it was going to be it was going to be an up and down thing. Kelsey was hurt week 1, Thursday Night Football on Prime with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit on the call. Detroit Lions going into their first game in Arrowhead in 20 years. The Lions walked into Arrowhead and beat them 20-19. It was a 1-point game, and the Chiefs didn't look themselves. It was a full going into midseason up and down season. It was wins here and there, and then losses here and there. And receivers, the Chiefs receivers led the league in drop passes. The buzz around Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship took effect, and I think that's why I said it provided the distraction for them on field. And then the switch flipped in the postseason, just like that. And they ended up dominating the whole field and winning the Super Bowl, going back to back. So unbelievable season for the Kansas City Chiefs. It was a full of ups and downs seasons. For the Niners, it was a season where you looked at them and they were undefeated at first, and then midseason injuries caught up to them. Then they lost a few games. Then they went back to being dominant after, getting healthy and completing their team once again. They, dominated some games, lost on Christmas, won on New Year's, lost the last season because they sat all their players to go to the playoffs, but got the number 1 seed. They were one of the dominant teams in the league. And how about the Baltimore Ravens? We all thought in the North that the Bengals were going to try to make a comeback and try to challenge the Chiefs and challenge everybody in the league. But it wasn't that. right? There were some problems with the Bengals going on to the Ravens. There were some problems. The Bengals, week one, got blown out by the Cleveland Browns. Joe Burrow didn't have a good day. They lost another game and they lost another game. Then the Bengals were winning and winning and winning again. And they found their stride, right? They found their stride. They lost the first two games against the Browns and the Ravens. They found their stride. The Bengals and Joe Burrow, kept playing. They had a crucial win against the Bills mid-season, and I said they could not lose any more games. And then they lost another game, and then they lost to the Baltimore Ravens. And in the process, Joe Burrow's season was over. He damaged his hand. He tore ligaments in his hand, broke some bones in his wrist and his hand, and he was done for the year. And he had to have surgery on his hand. And the season for the Bengals was done before it even got to, December and January. And it was kind of a hard thing for the Bengals. So the Bengals lost and the Bengals were eliminated from contention, a few weeks after. The Ravens were a team in the North that were going to take that spot. They completed had a good roster overhaul in the season. Lamar Jackson coming into an effect with, a record-setting instinction. He said, you know what? I'm not going to be a guy that gets money and then dips in his performance. We're going to ball out and we're going to try to make it all the way to the Super Bowl. And they lit the league on fire on all sides of the ball. They were the number one rushing team this season. Zay Flowers, the rookie wide receiver sensation, played a big part in their game plan on offense. Lamar Jackson proved that he was not just a runner, he was a thrower as well. He won his second MVP at the end of the year. Lamar Jackson was just quite incredible, and the Ravens were quite incredible until the AFC Championship, and they ran into that brick wall against the Kansas City Chiefs. We all thought that the Ravens were going to go to the Super Bowl. We all thought the Ravens were going to win the Super Bowl in Vegas. And we were all thinking to ourselves, including me, what's going to happen, right? What's going to happen? And the Chiefs ended up dominating the Ravens on all aspects of the ball. And that ended the Ravens season there. But the Ravens were the best team in the league all year. The Jacksonville Jaguars, another team. If you want to talk about a season full of surprises there, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it was a surpriser team again, but it ended in heartbreak. They were number one in the AFC South. They had like an 8-3, 9-3 game, a 9-3 record, and then they lost their last 6 games. The Texans were a surprise team on the rise with rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud, offensive rookie of the year C.J. Stroud, and defensive rookie of the year Will Anderson on the other side of things. And, rookie head coach D'Amico Ryans. They lost their first 3 games. They were thinking, oh, it's not going to go well. And then they turned the ship. And started winning some games, surprising a lot of teams in the league. They ended up winning out and winning the AFC South to everybody's surprise. No one thought they were going to win the AFC South, and they did. They made the playoffs, and they beat the Browns in the first wild card weekend. And then they go to the AFC divisional round against the Ravens, and they lost to the Ravens, but they made it to the AFC divisional round as the AFC South champions. Can you believe it? Who knows what could happen? And what was so funny about everything, and the Jaguars, like I said, blew the last bit of the game, and they didn't make the playoffs at all. Sad and heartbreak. But when you look at this season, there were some surprising teams. The Detroit Lions. We didn't expect the Detroit Lions to make it all the way to their NFC Championship game for the first time in 32 years. They won their first playoff game in the first time in 30 years. We didn't expect that to happen at all. And they made it. The Green Bay Packers destroyed the Dallas Cowboys in the opening round. And then not only that, played the Niners to at least the final 2 minutes of the game. We didn't expect the Green Bay Packers to be the way that they were at the end of the year. Surprising teams like the Texans, like the Lions, like the Packers. Surprising teams, right? And the funny thing about this season, the funny thing and the scary thing, if you think about it, is it was quite similar to the 2019 season going into the 2020 year. Hopefully COVID part 2 does not happen in March, because that's what scared me, because a lot of it was eerily similar to the 2019 season and a lot of what happened. Besides the Lions, a lot of it was similar. A lot of it was similar. The Texans won the AFC South. The Arizona Cardinals finished dead last in the NFC West. The uh, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl against the Niners. Same game, same results. Um, it- it- the Panthers finished NFC South last. It was all the same, and it was just it was quite scary. The Commanders finished last in their division with 13 losses. It was quite the same and quite eerily similar. But here's the thing about the season: we wouldn't trade it for the world, right? We would not trade football season for the world in both college and in NFL. We wouldn't trade it for the world because it's football. It's what brings people together, right? It is what brings people together to watch on Sundays and to think, look at this. They can do this. This team could very well topple the Chiefs. This team right here in the Chiefs is not going to beat anybody because they're inevitable, right? And that's just what makes football so great. It's what makes football season so wonderful. And it's just so, you know, so exciting and so just great to hear. And so great just to see how it's just so magical what football is and what exciting and how much excitement it brings to everybody, including myself. Football is a thing where it brings joy to people. NFL is where, on any given Sunday, teams are going to go out there and compete against one another. But the bottom line about the 2023 season is this: back-to-back Super Bowl champions. When you thought they were out and you thought that they were done for, the Chiefs went back-to-back Super Bowls in Kansas City, and they proved the Kansas City Chiefs this season as back-to-back champions, back-to-back Super Bowl champions, are inevitable. That was the brief summary of the 2023 season. That was my recap of everything. And we're out of time here. Guys, a big thank you for taking some time out of your Thursday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some NFL coverage presented by me. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you have to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. X, Instagram, and Facebook. All you have to do is just type in Pigskin Frenzy, follow, like the pages there. You will get episode updates. You will get news and highlights from across college and NFL football on X. You will get trivia questions on Instagram stories going into today's NFL one as well as offensive to date for Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, thank you for a wonderful season for both college and in NFL for 2023. I am ready to cover everything during the offseason. I'm ready to cover and get ready for the 2024 season for college football and the NFL. It's going to be here before you know it. We're going to blink from this moment like that. And the 2024 college football season and the 2024 NFL season for sure will be here before we know it. Will the Chiefs three-peat? That's the big question going in to the 2024 season. Will they three-peat? Who knows? But right now, they're inevitable for the back-to-back Super Bowl champions. So a big thank you for taking some time out of your Thursday once again for just sitting back and listening to some NFL coverage presented by me. We will be back Tuesday as we get ready for Tuesday's episode 99 of Pigskin Frenzy. And we were going to cover, back in the college football world, Pigskin Frenzy's top 50 games of the 2023 season for college football, starting from 50 to 41, ranked 50 to 41 games, a list of games for the 2023 season. That is episode 99 on Tuesday. And next Thursday, it is episode 100 of Pigskin Frenzy. We have made it to 100 episodes, guys. A big shout out and a big thank you for sticking with us through now going on 100 episodes next Thursday. I can't wait for it. We're about to be at 3,000 listeners. We have about to reach our in-season goal. Again, another big thank you, because without you guys, we wouldn't be doing Pigskin Frenzy. And not just that, without the Lord himself and without the main focus and our main goal to glorify God in what we do here at Pigskin Frenzy. Without Jesus, we wouldn't be in the position that we were with 3,000 listeners, within 100 episodes of Pigskin Frenzy. It's quite remarkable. It is. It's quite remarkable from just starting, getting 3,000 listeners this quick, and at 100 episodes. That's quite remarkable. So thank you to everybody for listening, and thank you, Jesus, to the Lord himself for giving us the platform to do this. Next Thursday, we're going to do, for episode 100, a 2023 NFL postseason Q&A. We're going to do another Q&A for the 2023 or for the NFL 2023 season postseason Q&A for episode 100 for next Thursday's episode. So until Tuesday for college football edition of Pigskin Frenzy, and for the Pigskin Frenzy top 50 through 41 games of the 2023 season for college football. Till then, stay tuned for that one. I'm Joel Norris signing off. Have a great rest of your weekend. See you guys Tuesday. And for everybody out there, please and always stay the course.